All right, y'all. Uh, Welcome to Street Church. Congregation, come on in. And for first time visitors, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, I want to talk about, again, this is about the migrants that's, at this point, I'm just going to call it what it is. It's the invasion of the United States of America. Um, and those who are accountable is the Biden administration for this invasion, because that's exactly what it is. It's a home invasion in our homeland. I'm talking about, yet again, they've been attacking in New York, these migrants, these teenage Venezuelan migrants. Uh, it is said that the president of Venezuela seen that the border was so open that he opened up his prison, emptied out his prison, and he's done let out all of these migrants who were once in his prisons, Venezuelans, and let them come across the border to the US of A. This is South America we talking about, y'all. So, um, they started in New York, right? This is a gang. And I was saying in the videos that they was organized, that these teenagers and these young adults uh, that are coming from Venezuela across the U.S. border and into the U.S., they're organized and they're a crime organization, and they're all over the United States robbing and stealing and getting it back to Venezuela, trying to get whatever they rob and steal for back to Venezuela. See what I'm saying? Now they started in New York, or at least we've been hearing about it from New York, right? First. So we got the situation going on in New York where it's been about 4 or 5 attacks from these young Venezuelans. Now they're in Chicago. It's just been reported that 4 migrants who were all in a shelter in Chicago, the Standard Club Migrant Shelter is what they calling it, came from this shelter. All 4 suspects in this robbery, attack, and strangle of a 48-year-old man who was waiting on the pink line, which is like a train. It's a train in the it's the loop. Chicago Loop has trains that loop people from those trains to their destinations, right? And so that travel line is called the Pink Line, right? It's 11.2 mile transportation line from that station to wherever you're going in Chicago, there and there in between, right? So he was attacked at that train station. Uh, so he was attacked, he was robbed, and he was strangled. Thank goodness he didn't die by the grace of God. Hallelujah. Amen. Um, I don't know his condition. I don't know his situation. I don't know if he spoke out about the attack yet or not. But you got 4 migrants, young, same ages, same look, same appearance and look as the Venezuelan attackers in New York. Same MO, same situation. And the thanks that we get for providing them with all of these resources is them robbing U.S. citizens to send it back to Venezuela. So this administration has failed us. This administration has failed us. This local, state, and federal government in so many of the cities in the U.S., right, have failed us. These policies that they came with during COVID, and them trying to stick to these policies, these ridiculous, stupid policies about lowering the penalties for those who commit crime, right? And trying to defund the police and allocate the money in other places, has failed. It's time to admit that, hold yourself accountable, and change course immediately. Even if it means that you local, state, and federal politicians who are Democratic, let's just keep it 10% of 1,000. You Democrats, Democratic politicians, Democratic leaders, Democratic lawmakers, Democratic influencers, Democratic celebrities, Democratic athletes, you have failed your country, the United States of America, because you have pushed, influenced, forced, set into motion what we have right now today going on in America. And the main crisis is the one you caused at the borders, northern and southern borders. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. And now you need to hold yourself accountable and, like I said, change course immediately. And I said it already in other videos that I've done concerning these migrant attacks on U.S. citizens. I've already said that it's finna start going all across the United States. And here we go. And these robberies will cause gang wars. Because the gang members in other cities will feel like these Venezuelans are moving in on their territory. So it's going to cause gang wars between the migrants and the U.S. citizens, street people in the U.S. Who have been smashing and grabbing themselves. You see what I'm saying? And robbing. They going to feel like they moving in on their territory and they stopping them from eating. And that's going to cause gang wars. So crisis upon crisis upon crisis. Crisis begets crisis. And that's exactly what is going to happen. I hope that the 48-year-old who was robbed and strangled is alive and well and making a full recovery. Shame on the local, state, and federal governments, the Democratic Party, the progressive, the liberals, whatever you want to call them, and the Biden administration for allowing this crisis to become a crisis, to become a crisis. Shame on you. Shame on you all. Because there's no way you could tell me you didn't have sense enough to see that this is what would be the outcome. And now it's two things. Either you're ignorant and unqualified and unfit to hold the positions that you hold, local, state, and federal, or It's malicious. And you're doing it because you have some very wicked and evil agenda. Either way, it's time for U.S. citizens to make their voices heard and make their votes count. Voices heard and votes count. Voices heard, votes count. There's no reason for anybody to come in my comments and try to create some narrative other than what I am saying. These attacks are by people who do not mean the country any good. These migrants are people who need to be deported. If they're going to rob, steal, attack, assault U.S. citizens who have been here legally all their lives. And we need to stop giving them benefits and making them U.S. citizens when they have not went through the proper channels or the proper process to be vetted. And this should be, if you're not doing this maliciously, this should be an example. Now you have tried this method, right? Okay, so you have tried this method of opening the border and having a certain count of people. It's not working. So since you have people doing this, this should cause you to say, let's shut the border down completely for a few months and find out who we got here in America right now. Let's find out. Let's vet everybody. Let's get on this. Let's stop it now because the cities we sending them to can't take care of them. We continue to have to take the resources from our own people who've been here working hard all their lives. You taking the resources from them, and you taking them from their children and their grandchildren and their children's children, and you giving the resources to these migrants. And the thanks you're getting for that, for doing that, thinking you're doing the right thing or acting like you're doing the right thing. Because like I said, this can be either out of ignorance or out of maliciousness. But whichever one it is, you should see that I'm giving them resources and they're still not behaving here. They still getting out of line. There's still something going on wrong. We still let the wrong people in here. So you have 10 million people that's here, at least. Why don't you vet them, like I've said in a previous video, right? Vet them, close down the border for, I would say, as many people as you got in here, it should be closed down for at least 5 to 7 years. You shouldn't let not another person in here for 7 years, and you don't let them out until you vet them and you get rid of them and you know that you got rid of them. So now you got a problem with getting them out of here because you got to make sure that you're getting the right ones and getting them out of here and keeping the right ones. You see? So why would you want to keep the border in when you're having trouble with, first of all, finding them housing? You're not finding them no jobs. They're not getting no jobs. People are not going to be ready to hire them because they feel, do you understand that you got local people, you got state people who feel like you're doing them a serious injustice and disservice with the resources that you are trying to bankrupt these cities with, right? You're trying to bankrupt and deplete the resources of these individual cities. And listen, you can't hold your chest out and say, well, we can back it up with the government. You're trying to print more money. It's going to devalue the resources. It's going to devalue the dollar, which is, the dollar is just almost nothing. I can almost burn the couple dollars I got in my pocket right now because that's what it's going to be good for, a fireplace in just a little while if you don't stop what you're doing, Biden administration. If you don't stop what you're doing, this administration and the local, state, and federal governments, if you don't stop letting influencers and celebrities and government officials, come into your cities and give you this Titanic, let the music keep playing, like you're the band that's going to keep playing while the Titanic is sinking, because that's what they asking you to do. They asking you to be the band that keeps playing while the Titanic is sinking, which is the United States of America. That's what they doing. Biden is asking you, the Biden administration, the federal government, even local, your mayors, some of your mayors in these individual cities, some of these governors, okay, in these cities where these sanctuary cities is at, they're asking you to be the band that's going to keep on playing while the Titanic is sinking, and you need to stop playing. You understand that? Stop playing. Stop playing. And start, fixing the holes in your city and in your state. And you only can do that by shutting it down, by saying we're not letting any more immigrants, do not bus any to us, because we will have our own individual police departments turn that bus right back around. Wherever you try to bus them at, we turning them around. That's what you need to do. And it's not by violence I'm not saying a violent mob need to go do this, not vigilantes. I'm talking about the mayors of these cities, the governors of these states need to do exactly what Greg Abbott did of Texas. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Don't let them continue to have you be the band that keeps playing while the Titanic is sinking. I'm telling you. Whatever mayor, whatever governor that sees this video, and YouTube yourself. I'm talking to the very people that is the reason why this channel is in existence. Social media, all media outlets, y'all need to be allowing the report. Y'all need to sound the alarm. Y'all need to make sure that the alarm is being sound. And you need to quit being the band that keeps playing while the Titanic is sinking, because it's going to be bad for you too. Because if it gets bad for me and other YouTubers, you're going to lose content. And you can go, y'all can all scramble away if you want to. But listen, if the market crash, you trillionaires that's making all this money off of YouTube, you YouTube owner, and the people who work for YouTube, y'all get laid off, y'all get fired, and that guy's money will not be worth nothing. I don't care what crypto he got, whatever. The only thing he'll have is if he got some gold bars somewhere. But the paper money that he got won't be worth nothing. And his credit won't be nothing if they want to destroy him. Your credit won't be nothing. Because eventually, that's what America is trying to live off of, is credit and digital currency and all this stuff. But it won't be worth nothing. Because these people are going to come and tear it down and destroy everything that is the U.S. of A. And that is, if you let it keep on going, that's a promise. That's the writing on the wall. It will destroy social media. Who can do a YouTube video if they gotta have a gun outside the window because vandals and robbers is looking to come kick their door down at any minute, because this world, you got to grab what you can, rob what you can, because everything has collapsed. Like the Great Depression of the Roaring 20s, the 1920s. When the Great Depression came. Ain't no more YouTube content. What? Who can do it? You got to have your rifle in your hand protecting everything that you got left when it all crashes. Whatever you got left of anything of value, you see, because the money won't be worth nothing. You can't hire nobody with no money. So come on, let's stop this. Let us stop being the band that keeps on playing while the Titanic is sinking. Man, if they had been bailing water out of there or doing whatever they do to plug the hole up, the band probably could have been down there using their manpower to plug up a hole. Plug whatever was making it sink. But they had them playing, and while the Titanic is sinking, they told them to keep playing. And that's what they're telling you. The Biden administration is telling you to keep playing while the Titanic is sinking, which is the United States of America, if you don't get the analogy. So listen, That's my take on it, though. But we got 4 migrants, young migrants. I guarantee you they were Venezuelan. I saw them. They looked like the migrants that were down in New York doing the attacks. Um, and this is where we are. And this is going to continue to happen all across the United States. And unless we shut down the northern and southern border, both need to be locked down. And there needs to start to be a National Guard and federal presence and more policing done where y'all need to take the restraints off the law enforcement agencies across the United States and tell them, go do your job. Y'all need to have conversations where y'all need to ensure them that there will be no backlash or trouble, but we need y'all to operate as law enforce. Emphasis on force meant of the laws. I ain't telling you to tell them to go out there and go get no good old boys and get the hooting and hollering and doing lynchings and all that. This is not no white supremacy stuff I'm talking about. I am talking about legal law enforcement agencies doing what they need to do to curb, to detain, and to restrain the evil that's going on all across the United States in these sanctuary cities. And y'all need to start vetting the ones that you have and close the border down for 5 to 7 years. That's my take on it. Shut it down until you find out who we got with the 10 million you've already let in to help. You ain't got them situated. They don't have decent housing. You just got them there, just piled up. And in some cities, in some states, it's not legal for them to vote. So what is the benefit? You think you got another 4 years coming on. You're so convinced of that. It makes me think something is amiss and something wicked is amiss with this election that's going to come up. That's what it's making me think. Because with all the chaos, with all the corruption, with all the crisis that's going on, it's some people too smug still, too confident still in the way they're behaving and reacting and responding to these things that got me thinking something is amiss, something evil and something wicked is amiss concerning this coming election, presidential election, and some other important local and state elections. So let's be mindful. And the ones who know that they got influence or legal stance or who have the power to make some changes, hold yourselves accountable and make that change. Change course immediately. Listen, this is Street Church. I'm letting the congregation out. God bless.